Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start. I'm looking up something, that's why I'm not looking at the camera. Where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses in many places, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. I'm looking in the wrong place. So I got a question, and I want to just look at the exact question. The question is, blah. Do you wholesale outside of New York? Why wholesale in New York if the process takes so long? Great question. So I'm going to explain on this thing why I choose to wholesale in New York. Now, to be honest, I have done deals in other states. I've done deals in Oklahoma, Florida. Where else did I do? Chicago. That's not a state. Illinois. And I choose to operate in New York. So let me explain why. I'm going to give all the good reasons. Now, if you haven't ever seen my videos, you may say, "What the hell is he talking about?" Why it's and there are certain reasons why it's harder in New York, right? Takes a long time. Got to deal with attorneys who sometimes kill deals. The EMD, the earnest money deposit, is very high, expensive. 10% standard. So I'm buying something for $300,000. I got to put up to $30,000 unless I negotiate it down. There's a lot of reasons why it's harder in New York. No outs. You don't have an inspection contingency like you have in other states. So let me explain why it is better in New York. Now, I choose to do business in New York, and there are some tremendous reasons why. So let's go through a few of them. Number one, you make more money in New York. I'm now averaging over $40,000 per wholesale deal. That is a tremendous amount of money in a lot of parts of this country. In the busiest parts, so I'm talking about Dallas, Phoenix, Vegas, these guys average about $8,000 on a wholesale deal. And when you look and see other people, I have an event tonight, and an email went out saying it was tomorrow night. Sorry, give me a second. Your vendors tonight. Yes. Okay. So, you see these wholesales. I made $250,000. The truth is, most of their deals are really small. They do a lot of deals, but the average deal is $8,000, $10,000. That's much more common in most of the country. Here, it's much higher, right? I think I'm averaging over $40,000. I have to figure it out because I do a lot of JV deals, and sometimes I don't put in the full amount. I put in just my half. You make a lot more money, number one. Number two, much, much less competition, significantly less competition. So I can't even tell you. I told people this, they don't even believe me. But I would say about 2/3 of the time, around 65% of the time, 2 out of 3 times, I am the only person making an offer to a seller. If you talk to somebody in most parts of the country, certainly the busy areas I discussed before, Dallas, Phoenix, Vegas, they're online there. They're on a line of 30 people to make an offer. Because if you end up on any list, right, a code violation list, certainly a foreclosure list, tax delinquent list, you're inundated with 100 people calling you. In New York, because it's so different, there are a lot fewer people. I like being the only person making an offer, obviously. In the last few deals I locked up, I was the only person who made an offer. Now, very often a seller will tell you, "Oh, I'm taking offers." A lot of times that's bullshit. And the fact that I'm the only person making an offer allows me to buy at deeper discounts. That is a big deal. That's number two. Number three, so we said it's very hard to get into contract in New York. The seller's attorney has to draw up the contract, send it to your attorney. It's a bit of a pain. But the opposite side, the flip side of that coin, is it is impossible for a seller to get out of contract. So just to give you an example, I was dabbling in southern Florida. I got 2 contracts and they both fell apart. Guy said, "I'm out." Now, what am I supposed to do in Florida? Nothing. I can't hold the guy to his contract. He sends back my deposit and that's it. Or the title company sends back my deposit. In New York, the seller cannot get out of the contract. So I've had this happen maybe half a dozen times in the past 10 years where a seller will decide, "Hey, I'm not selling you the house," or "I'm not selling you the house for that price." It happens. I don't panic at all. And I simply say, talk to your attorney. Now, what can happen in New York, what can happen and should happen in New York, is if a seller backs away and you don't want them to back away, you can do 2 things. And they are incredibly powerful things that you have legally at your disposal. One is you can file list pendants on the property. That is the same as if he forecloses on a mortgage. That will prevent the seller from selling to anyone else ever until you release the list pendants, number one. Number two, you can sue the seller for specific performance, which means the entire purchase price. You're supposed to buy the property at $450,000. You're going to sue him for $450,000, and you're going to win every dollar of it. Now, the question that comes up when I tell those people is, well, the seller doesn't know that. Sorry, the seller is represented by an attorney. So he's going to ask his attorney, and the attorney is going to go, "Yeah, you have no choice. You have to sell the property to him." So now there is a legal process to do that, which I'm not getting into, but that is the fact. So every time a seller's told me, "I don't want to sell it to you," or "I don't want to sell it to you for that price," I said, just call your attorney. And they've called me back sometimes that day, sometimes the next day, and said, when can we close? That is a beautiful thing. Seller cannot get out of contract unless you let him. It's an amazing thing. Now, what else was there? There's a few other good things that I forgot. I'm not thinking about. But there are significant advantages in New York. Making more money, less competition, seller can't get out of the deal. There's so many more, and I'm not even thinking about them. I really should write this crap down before I come on live and do this. So I'm a fan. Now, obviously, I'm located in New York, right? I live on Long Island. I've been living here for almost 30 years, and I know the area pretty well. When I started, I really focused on just like a couple of cities: Elmont, Valley Stream, small cities that were near me, and then I expanded. I do all of Nassau now, and I do I'd say half of Suffolk. I try to do the western half of Suffolk that's closer to me. Trying not to go all the way out there, but I sometimes do. It's areas that I know, right? And knowing the area is a huge advantage. Now, I know the standard things, wholesale anywhere and just use Redfin and figure out what the price is. It's not that simple, okay? The one thing that nobody tells you, and it's amazing to me that nobody says this, is that when you start doing this, you're not going to know what a deal is, right? I just got a call from a guy on a listed property. It's listed for $565, and he tells me he wants me to buy it for $565. That guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing, right? Now, I'm not even saying. Let's be honest. If you have a listed property, now today the market has just shifted, right? We're on the way down now. I don't know for how much. I don't know how much it's going to go down. I don't know how long it's going to go down. But really, for the last 10 years, if you had a property listed for sale for $565, for example, and it wasn't selling, it's only not selling because it's not worth $565,000 to an end user. So the idea that a guy like me is going to buy that property for what it's not even worth to an end user is nuts. It's insane, right? And most people that are trying to get in this business try to take the easy shortcut. I'm going to find listed properties. I'm going to call realtors who work with sellers and distressed sellers and with investors. That is, I promise you, a recipe for wasted time and eventual disaster. I got to call that guy back. The business is not unlisted properties. It just isn't. I know there was a period of time in 2008, 9, in other cities where it was, right, where banks were just putting properties out there for bargain basement prices. You can buy it and then put it back out and sell it for make 50 grand. That was never the case in New York. Never the case in New York. Ever, right? So you have to go off market, right? You have to spend the time, the effort to market to sellers who are likely to sell because they're on a list, right? So maybe they're old, lived there a long time. Maybe you can get a tax delinquent list. Maybe you can get a code violation list. Maybe it's an absentee owners. Maybe there was an eviction going on. Maybe there's a problem there. You get lists of these people, and then you simply ask them, hey, would you like to sell the property to me? And guess what? Most of them are going to tell you to drop dead. Some of them are going to say maybe. A few of them are going to say yes. And all those maybes and yeses are people you need to follow up with until they're ready to sell and make them an offer that makes sense for you to buy it and where they're okay. And let's be clear. If they don't have a problem that we can solve with a below market offer, we're not going to buy the property. It's really that simple. It's not complicated. It's not brain surgery, right? It's a simple business. It's not an easy business, but it's a simple business. You call people who may want to sell and you offer them a price that works for you. And then you either wholesale it or you close on it and do the work and sell it, or hotel it, which is buy it, do little work to it and put it back on the market. Whatever the hell you're going to disposition the property as. But that's the simple truth. But the people that are looking at on market listed properties are literally taking their most precious asset that any of us have, which is time, and flushing that asset down the toilet. You cannot wholesale listed properties in any significant fashion. If a wholesaler brings a deal to me and it's listed, I already don't want it. If a seller talks to me and says it's listed, I say it's probably not going to work. Now, having said that, 1 out of 1,000 of those I end up buying. 1 out of 1,000, right? Because there's some crazy story. So I had a great deal in West Hempstead where somebody called me. It was listed for $699. I go, it's probably not going to work. She goes, I need to sell it. I go, listen, you're asking $700. It's a $600 house. Just drop the price to $599. She goes, I need you to come anyway. I go there. I make her an offer of $450. She said, okay. There was a reason for it. I bought it for $450 and I sold it for $575. That's a 1 out of 1,000 situation, right? So anytime a seller tells me the property's listed, I go, it's probably not going to work. If they push back, I'm going to find out the story. But if you bring me a property that's listed for sale in the MLS, I'm almost certainly going to never speak to you again. I have no interest in listed properties. That is just a stupid, lazy shortcut to try to get in this business. You need to market to off-market sellers. That's it. That is the business. So I hope this was I got off on a tangent, but I like New York because I like making more money per deal. I mean, I can literally do one deal for what a guy in Dallas, Vegas, Phoenix, it'll take him 5 deals to make what I'm going to make on one deal. And I like having no competition, right? And I like the fact that once a deal is locked up, seller's not going anywhere. There are other positives. I just forgot about it. But that's why I choose to operate in New York. So I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're interested in finding out more about one-on-one coaching, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any channel, please click the thumbs up. The algorithm really helps me. The more likes I get, the more people see my videos. And please keep commenting. This came by request from Saad Tai. And thank you, Saad, for your request. And I try to get to all comments within a day or two. Doesn't have to be about the video you're watching. The one he asked me had nothing to do with the video he's watching. I try to respond to everybody within a day or two. If it's a simple response, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something I covered recently, I'll send you links to videos. If something new, I will do a new video on it. So thank you very, very much for watching.